I don't know. I don't know what God is going to do. I didn't know what he was going to do last time, and it blew my mind. And I think that that's where we have to be. We belong to a God who loves greatly, who gives everything for us. And I'm just excited. I just got to stop and pause and echo the words of Amanda at the beginning of this whole thing. Just stop and pause and say, Lord, just let your will be done.
Good morning and welcome to Peace to You from Peace Lutheran Church in Arvada, Colorado. And as usual, we have the Peace to You crew, but this time, as you can see, we're expanding a little bit. Today has been a celebration for the Ethiopian trip. I went somewhere else than you guys did. For the Guatemalan trip. I guess they went to Guatemala, I went to Ethiopia, I don't know why. But anyway, no, we're talking about and we're celebrating our Guatemala trip and everybody that 101 people that went down there, and we built 4 homes, and it was fantastic. It was a great experience. And I've got some of the builders with me today and some of the leaders here. I got on my right, Brad Hostetler, who is, every time something went wrong, we would say, "Oh, Brad." Even though he was doing a fantastic job, it was always an, "Oh, Brad." But anyway, and to my left is Jason Ammon. And Jason was in charge of one area that I felt really bad because he was behind this one house and just struggling. I mean, he was doing all this work by himself and cutting and all, and we kind of ignored him, and so I felt bad about that. So I thought on the air I would apologize.
That's all right.
And then,
enjoy it.
And then to his left is his daughter Kinsey. And Kinsey did a lot of work. I saw you nailing nails and all that stuff, but most importantly, well, I'll kind of leave it up to you. When you were there, and I saw you kind of connecting with the kids, what was that like for you? Because I know you didn't speak the same language, but what was that like for you?
So basically, it was really hard to talk to them, but it was still really fun. Especially kind of figuring out how they act towards you, and especially just connecting and playing. We were drawing with all the little girls. And they were Brad was playing football with the boys and soccer. It was really fun. And also eating lunch with them was really, really fun because you get to the mom, my older sister knows how to speak Spanish, and the mom would connect with her, and we would all have a conversation. It was really fun.
Oh, that's great. Now, were you one of the crew that went over to see the cows?
Yeah, that
were
was
you?
really fun.
And you said the cows were a lot different, but when you
Yeah.
explained it to me, it sounded like you were looking at a bull as opposed to a cow.
One of them had a bump on its back, and it looked like a bull, but I guess it was just a normal cow, and their cows look completely different than ours. And they were like, "Oh, it's just a normal cow."
Guatemalan cows.
Yeah.
Yeah, who would have thought? And Jason, this was your first trip to take one of these missions?
It was,
right?
yes.
Yeah, and it was great because Jason speaks Spanish. It was wonderful. So he helped a lot, especially when we were doing the closing stuff.
Yes.
But what did you think overall? What did you think about the whole mission and the people that were there?
It was life-changing. Great experience. It was a little bit of a leap of faith. Didn't really know what to expect. Didn't know a lot of the members that were a part of our team going out there. But I'd do it again in a heartbeat. It was great for my family. It was great for myself. Great just to continue to build on my faith and to pass on the message of God. And I think a lot of times we say a lot of great things as Christians, but we forget we need to act as Christians.
Yes.
And so this was a great way to serve and to give back.
Oh, that's great. And we have that thing in common with those people, too.
Yes.
You know, they had their church, and their pastor came and sang with us, right, that last day. And you helped interpret some of that, I think.
I did. I don't know if it made sense, but I did my best with translation. Yes.
No, I thought you did a great job
All right.
because mine, si and donde está la baño only goes so far. That's it for me. No, I can say no too. See and no.
See.
I say no. Brad, I know we teased you a lot, but you were great. You were up on the roof. This guy, it was amazing. You and another guy that was working with us, Ty, up on that hot roof. Remember that corrugated steel roof and how hot it was up there? And you guys just came through like champs. Now, are you a builder? Have you done a lot of building, or were you kind of holding back? You know, what were you doing here?
Definitely not a builder. I don't have a lot of experience out there doing any work like that, but I think we had a great team who was able to lead us and teach us. And you know, I learned so much just about the construction process, and from laying the concrete to, like you said, being on the roof and laying those rafters up there. So that was an incredible experience that's maybe not talked about as much as just all the construction knowledge we were able to gain there. So that was really cool.
Sure. It is great. And as you can see, there was 4 different colors of groups, and you see a lot of green here because even though it's not a competition, green was awesome. But just saying that they were awesome. But anyway, when we built that thing, there was a couple of family members that joined us. Did they come and talk to you a lot, or did you get to really mingle with that family because they were just great folks?
Yeah, I got to spend a lot of time with Antonio, who is grandfather or father to Linda, and just a joy, smile on his face all the time. Again, because I can speak some Spanish, we were able to connect a little bit and talk about the process and his family. But it was awesome to just see him. He wanted to join in throughout the build, getting his hands dirty and wanting to be a part of that. And I think it was definitely eye-opening and inspirational to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, one of the things that they mentioned when we were down there, and you all heard this, they don't touch the dogs, and so, I kind of stayed away, and then, of course, there was chickens and everything else, so I stayed away from everything. But the children were hugging, and I saw them hugging you all the time, Kenzie, but that was no big, it's like giving hugs to just about anybody, right? We didn't really, did you ever think about that they might, have a disease or something that you always hear about, or did that bother you at all?
Honestly, it didn't really bother me. It kind of was like just hugging like a child from here. Mm-hmm. It was really no different. They act the same, even though I don't know their language well. It's just the same as like hugging my friends.
Yeah. Speak the same language, that language of love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has that same language of love. Yeah. I love that. Now, I know that, Brad, you work downtown Denver, and you've got a pretty intense job sometimes. I would imagine that you have a lot of stress and things like that. What did you think? I mean, when you compare, like, working downtown Denver, working, in those areas, and it's pretty hard just to get downtown. What did you think when you're getting out there and seeing these people living in a jungle, basically? I mean, big difference, huge difference.
It's completely different. I mean, the blessings that we have in our everyday life and things that you take for granted is very real, because when you go down there and you see what they live with, one of the experiences I got to experience was the bathrooms, and not having running water or plumbing and things like that. And it's the little things like that it was really a blessing to be able to take a step back. The other thing I'll mention that we were just talking about our busy lives every day, and think about taking time off to relax. And sometimes what I found with this trip was, from a service-oriented perspective, that was refreshing, to be able to have that time to serve and to give back. And that can be, even though we're working really hard, just as refreshing as just taking time off. So
it's true. I know, even though you're really tired at the end of the day, right, you feel good. I mean, you feel good about, what you were able to do, and you feel good about, having that opportunity to be blessed like we are, first of all, to live where we do, and then second of all, to be able to just share a little bit of that with those folks. So what were the biggest standouts for you guys? What do you think it was? We talked about, where did you see God today? And we know our group talked about that all the time. And it seemed like everywhere was the answer. But what stood out most for you? I'm looking at you, Kenzie, so I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm staring in your direction.
So the day that we were doing concrete, and the dad was shoveling with me, and he was so good at it, and he's really fast, but it was really fun. And the lady, Linda, she was like helping, and then she went to go watch her baby. It was really cute, and like connecting with their family was really, really fun. Like the little girl Lucette, was really, really sweet to me, and I love her. And we were like drawing and having like like such a fun time, and I saw God a lot in that.
Oh, that's great. And you got some new biceps, got some new guns
Yep.
out of the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, a lot stronger.
A lot stronger. Very good. So you were able, like the kids at school or your peers, were you able to share this with them? And were you?
Yeah, I talked about it in school and like going and how like people should try and like go places and connect to God. And,
I love it. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Jason, what do you think? Other than that back wall and all the
Yes,
cutting you were doing.
testing my patience.
Other than
but,
that, you have good patience.
Yeah. I'd say what really stood out to me was the teamwork and everybody coming together for the mission. To bring some joy and light in these the families' lives. It was great to see people that didn't really know each other before. And I remember one time we were doing concrete, just taking a step back and looking at. Everybody's dripping sweat, getting dirty, and it was just amazing to see that camaraderie and the ability to work as a team to come together and put together a beautiful product. And that really stood out to me, again, going towards servitude towards others and mission of God.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And just seeing that a place for that little baby to live. You
Yes.
see that little baby, and
Yes.
the little girl came in and laid on the mattress. I don't think she was going to get up. This is the first time she had a mattress.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt so good. Brad.
Yeah,
What jumped out at you?
those were two of mine. So the two big things that stood out to me was one, the sense of community and connection that we were able to form as a group going down there, but also then able to relate to the families there. The amount of people that I met that just had a fire for Christ and to live in a community like that and to be able to serve in a community like that was just so refreshing, and it just inspires me to come back and want to share the word even more.
Excellent.
So that was phenomenal. And then just as you just mentioned, the moment that really stood out to me and sticks with me was after we finished the house and the family was moving in, and Linda was able to lay her baby on the bed for the first time. And that was the first thing that she wanted to do when she walked in, was just
Sure.
to put that baby down. And you think about the life that baby's going to have now, having this home and being able to have a mattress, and that they will never have to know something different than hopefully having you sleeping on the floor or anything like that. And I think having that long-lasting perspective that's going to really change their life is just super meaningful. So I'll always carry that with me for sure.
Oh, excellent. So a whole new life for them, and
Absolutely.
and we got to carry all those memories.
Mhm.
Well, the good news is, like Pastor Guy was talking about, there's more missions in the future, down to possibly Ethiopia. Now I'm getting the words right. See, possibly down to Ethiopia, but we're talking about Mexico, and maybe Guatemala again, and there's going to be some more opportunities. So we hope that, everybody comes back again, and like people saw, a lot of times people think, well, missions, that's, older people. Oh, no, there was younger ones there. We went from, what did they say, 8 to 80.
Yes.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yes, incredible.
So, well, thank you all for joining me here today in the podcast. And this is such a great group. And like I said, our green is the best. But everybody did a wonderful job. 101 people, and building 4 homes like that, just changing the life forever for these folks was really, really amazing. So anyway, we hope that if you don't have a church home, that you'll join us here at Peace Lutheran Church at 57th and Field. And we're here at 8 o'clock on Sunday mornings. We got a Bible study at 9:15, and then we're here again at 10:30. So we hope that you join us if you have that capability. And if you don't have that church home, we'd love to see you here and meet and greet all these great people. And what a family. Not all of us go to this church, but we're all still a very tight family, and that was really represented in Guatemala. So again, thank you all, and blessings on your week.
Thank you.
Well, now you all got to stand up. It's just what it is. You can't leave them hanging. All praise to God. That was good. Thank you. I know that was all to God. Praise God. I've had that happen at the end of my sermons, but not at the beginning. Really, all summer we've been going through this book, and we end our sermon series today in the valley with Christ is your victory. And the reason why we did this whole sermon series in the first place was because you were asking me, how do you care for people that are going through the lowest points of life, through sadness and depression and feeling alone and all the rest? How do you do this? And so I thought, well, there's a book that we could read and we could go through this. And the answer has been the same. Every single week, all 9 weeks and today, the answer has been the same. When you are going through whatever calamity, insert it. The answer is always who? That's right. Oh, very good. And for us then, this has been, it seems like a no duh, but you know, as I know, that when you get down into these lowest parts and places in life, that's not always easy to remember. And so it is our job as the church, not only to remind one another that Jesus alone is the answer. He is your comfort. He is your care. To remind people of God's love, but then to share that with people who don't know. That is our work. All of us together, whether we're going to Guatemala or whether we're serving here in this place. And so for us then, we do have lots of examples of God's love in the world. But I think we just need to stop and realize that for all Christians, even the most faithful of Christians, even those who would die and give their lives for the sake of the cause, these moments, these storms come. There is a story in Scripture where the disciples are out on the lake with Jesus and the storm hits. Jesus is asleep in the front of the boat. Do you guys remember this story? And at the end of this, then they're freaking out because they think they're all going to die. And they turn to Jesus and they say these words, "Lord, Lord, don't you care that we are perishing?" Now, you and I on this side of everything, not on the boat in the midst of that storm, know that of course he cares. In fact, he stands up, he calms the storm, he saves them and rescues them, just like he always will. Just like he had done from beginning to end in his life with us. When someone was sick, he cared for them and he rescued them and he healed them. When someone was hungry, he fed them. When someone was possessed by a demon, he cast that demon out. Wherever he went, he gave of his life sacrificially, every step of the way, only pausing to pray, only pausing to sleep. He was all about this mission, this kingdom of pouring himself out. But there is one action. There is one thing that he did that eternalizes his love throughout all of creation, and that is going to the cross. We heard the sound of that today, the nails. We heard the sound of what his love looks like and the extent for which he will go. And we know what it is like to live in his love. Jesus said, "Greater love has no one than this, that someone should lay down his life for his friends." Well, I will say now that Jesus has given us this gift, that greater love has no one than this, who would sacrifice all of himself, including his life, for the sins of every person, even those who hated him, that they may have life eternal in him, both now and forever. And so we know what it's like to have been loved. We know what it's like to have been cared. And Jesus is the answer every single step of the way. He alone is our victory. And that's what we read today. That's how we begin. We've come to know and believe that the love that God has for us, that this love abides in us. And by this love, we have been perfected. And by this love, we will face no judgment in this world. And if you can go to the next slide, it says there is no fear in this love. As Adrienne shared in her story, she was kind of hesitant to share, but once she's gotten back and seen God's love at work, the fears have kind of drifted away, because all people need this love, and only in his love can there be this perfection, this new life that has been given. And now our calling to living in this world is to love others because he first loved us. Last November, I stood up here in front of all of you, and I said, hey, let's build as many houses for as many families in Guatemala as we can. And I would have been ecstatic. In fact, I told Lauren, if we hit 40 people, and if we do two to three houses, I will be pumped. And then I went home, and I'm like, this is going to be fun. And then 3 weeks later, we had over 75 people signed up, and I started asking, what's the limit? Lauren, you got to find out how many we can do. And then I was starting to freak out a little bit because it just kept going. And I said, cap it at 100. But we didn't get there fast enough, so we got to have 101. And I was like, boom, cap it. I don't even know if they can host any more than that. And so we hosted out, and we got a waiting list, and it just kind of blew me away. And I learned a lesson. Don't challenge God. Right? Don't mess with him. Be like, God, you're going to see what God will do here. And he's like, pfft. And then I was like, now we have to pay for this. And I was nervous. That's a lot of money. Like, it was a lot of money to go and do this for all these people. And I'm like, how are we going to do this? And I'm fretting. And all of a sudden, boom, a month and a half later, we have all the funds we need for all the houses. And the rest of our time could just be used fundraising to offset the cost. And as Scott, one of our missionaries, said to the congregation, I was so the group gathered there, the mission team, every person paid maximum $500 to go on this trip. And as Scott said, that's not very much. God is good. I learned again, don't challenge God. Don't, if you want big things, I guess just ask him and trust and wait and see, because he had a lot of love to share. As you saw in the video, as you've heard from the people who've shared, as you heard the stories in Discipleship Hour. And so here I am. It's not been quite a year since I stood up before you, but we need a couple months extra planning because I don't know what's going to happen here. But I want to challenge you and challenge God again. We have opportunity as a church to impact not just some families in Guatemala, which is incredible work, and we're going to do that again. But we have an opportunity to impact the lives of families here in Jefferson County in the city of Arvada. And so let's do it. We're in the process of building a ministry team for the future and asking God what his designs and plans for us as a church in the next 10 and 20 years. But we're not going to just stand around and wait. Let's do some work. Let's get out there, meet people where they are. They're not coming here. Let's go find them. And I think we can do this simply by showing, just like we did to Guatemala, that we actually care. That we'll put our lives, we'll put our vacation time, we'll put our money behind this, and we will serve. And we're going to do this in two ways. We're going to do it both inward. Next slide. First of all, we need to just learn who we are. We need to learn our story. And so this year, we're going to spend time in the scriptures. And maybe you're an incredible Bible scholar, or maybe you're just clueless about the whole thing. But you will be better at the end of our time together as we go through this resource called the story. You're going to learn the Bible. You're going to learn to tell our story. And you're going to learn how to study the Bible. Then we're going to have a Life Together initiative where we, as a congregation, just continue to improve on our care for one another. We're not going to be a chaplain ministry. If you could go back. We're not going to be a chaplaincy ministry anymore where it's just kind of pastor-focused. We're going to continue to push that work out. Pastor Tim was beginning this probably last February. He started doing this, and we're going to continue to do that. When you join our congregation, when you're part of this family, you'll receive the care of the family. And then we're going to kind of continue to try to reach out and build life groups, implement lay-led care. Now we're going to shift to outward, and we're going to start here in our town, and we're going to do it under this kind of initiative called We Care, simple as that. We're going to partner with local businesses to care for our community and people within it. We're going to make up T-shirts. I know it sounds goofy, but we're going to have T-shirts that literally say We Care and have the businesses that have chosen to sponsor us and care for this community. And we're going to just get out there and meet people and serve them. We're going to demonstrate that we are a people who are loved, and we're going to come up with as many ways as we can think of. Here's some of the ideas that have been came up with already. Community cleanup, support EMS workers, prayer canvas, food pantry drive, and service, and wherever else the Lord leads. Then we're going to go beyond ourselves too, beyond our community, and a wider outreach, and we're going to build as many houses as possible again, but we're not going to go to just one site and just 1 week. We're going to spread those out throughout the summer. We're going to do a trip to Guatemala, Mexico, and Honduras if the Lord raises up the people and the funds. And so we will just do a broader net. And I just want to say that when I was down there, I asked Scott, the missionary that we had, what's the record? He was the vice president of something. What's the record? What's the biggest group anyone's ever sent through CASAS in the last 35 years? And he said 156. That seems doable. Anybody else? Especially if we go to multiple places. I'm like, okay. And so we'll see. I don't know. I challenged the Lord once, and I was surprised. I feel like we can do this for sure if you invite your friends and family who aren't part of our church. What we learned on this trip is that there was people who came with us that had never met any of us, and they just wanted to be a part of this. And I would believe that their lives were changed just like everyone else. And then we're going to send an exploratory team down to Ethiopia. We have a couple different ministries we work with there and see if there's any opportunities. We're going to continue to explore the opportunities with the Utah and the mission initiative that our district is doing. And then we're going to go all in on Operation Christmas Child, not just filling the boxes and donating them, but sending a big group as we can get down to the center together to pack those boxes. And those are just the things that we came up with in the few months since we've gotten back. I don't know what God is going to do. I didn't know what he was going to do last time, and it blew my mind. And I think that that's where we have to be. We belong to a God who loves greatly, who gives everything for us. And I'm just excited. I just got to stop and pause and echo the words of Amanda at the beginning of this whole thing. Just stop and pause and say, Lord, let your will be done. I don't know where you're going to lead and what you're going to do in our midst, but there's a whole bunch of people, and we all know them, that desperately need your son. They just don't know it yet. Amen? All right, that's enough for today. Wrap it up. All right.
Thank you for joining us for Peace to You at Peace Lutheran Church in Arvada, Colorado. If you have no church home, we'd be delighted for you to join us at 5675 Field Street in Arvada. Services are at 8 and 10:30 a.m., with Bible classes for all ages at 9:15 a.m. You can easily access our services online on our YouTube channel, Peace Arvada at youtube.com, or wherever podcasts are found. Coming this January, tune in to the new video podcast at Peace to You on youtube.com, or listen wherever podcasts are found. Now, from the entire broadcast team at Peace Lutheran in Arvada, I'm Reuben Hollenbeck, and may the peace of our Lord be with you now and always.